Hi everybody, this is Justina with JustynaTHandMade. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to create a cute and fast case for any of your devices. I'm making one for my iPad, but based on the instructions I'm providing in the next clip, you're gonna be able to create one of those cases for any size of device you have. And because of that, I'm not providing you with the actual pattern because it's really irrelevant because we all have different size devices. I think it's more helpful when I provide you with the way I figure out how to create a pattern piece based on the size of the device I have or you have. As you know, this is a free pattern. It's nice and quick. I think it doesn't really get any quicker than that, but I think it looks pretty nice and professional. I'm really happy how this project came out. So we have this zipper on the side, and inside you can store your devices. It has nice cushion because I'm using foam to add a little protection to my case. And like I said, all of that it's provided in the instructions. So if you have an iPad that is a different size than mine is 11 inches, or you even want to create this really simple case for your laptop, you're gonna be able to do that based on the way I show you how to figure out the correct size for your pattern pieces. Before we dive into sewing, I just want to remind you to make sure that you are a subscriber to my channel, and if you enjoyed the video or my channel at large, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment. I really like hearing from you, and share this video if you think you have any friends or family members that you think would benefit from watching my videos. And if you would like to support my small business, please make sure to visit my Etsy store, and I hope you find a pattern that you think is worth investing in. And now if you want to see how this cute, super simple, but I think very nice looking device case comes together, please keep watching. To start our project, we're gonna prep our pattern pieces. Like I said, this pattern you will have to adapt to the size of device you are making it for. The way I did it, I cut a piece of vinyl that it's 18 inches in width and 12 inches tall, and this is a piece I cut for my 11-inch iPad. As you can see, I have left some space, so I have about an inch on the bottom and inch and a half on the sides. This is just folded in half. This is just folded in half. I place my iPad on the fabric, left about 3/8 of an inch on the fold because I'm gonna be using some foam to line it, so I wanted to give it a little more space. So I have 3/8 of an inch on the folded sides, about inch and a half on the top and on the side, and about an inch on the bottom to give myself some space for seam allowances. After cutting that rectangular shape, I just freehand the rounded corner. You can do it as round or as square as you prefer. After I cut one, then I folded my fabric in half so I can trace the cut on the other side so they're identical. Then after cutting my main outer panel, I use that panel to cut my lining piece, so they are exactly the same size. And because I do want to give the project a little cushion, I'm using some foam that I cut smaller for about 3/4 of an inch all around my lining piece. You can fuse it, but I want to avoid any bulkiness in my seams, so I'm gonna wait till the later step of my project to insert my foam. And this way you're just gonna have a nice cushion and protection for your device without worrying through the sewing process that you will have to worry about the bulky seams that will include the foam. Or if you don't have a foam, you can use fusible fleece, which I would do the same. So I would cut a piece that it's about 3/4 of an inch smaller or all around, and with the fusible fleece I would fuse it to the wrong side of the lining before I start sewing. Then to create a closure of our case, I'm gonna be using zipper tape number 5 that I cut to size, and I cut 24 inches long piece. That's probably a little excessive, but I rather work with a little longer tape, which is then easier to handle than have it too short. And the last thing is a zipper pull and a zipper end, and you can use a ready-made zipper end, or you can create your own out of vinyl or fabric, whatever you prefer. So now that we have all our pieces ready, I'm gonna put the lining and the foam to the side for now. I already marked the center of my top edge of the main outer piece, and I'm gonna prep the top edge of my zipper. I already did one off screen, so it takes less time, but I'm gonna show you how I do it. I like the method where I use my lighter, so I'm just pinching the tape, folding the end to create a nice folded end, and using my lighter I'll just melt the edges to stick them together. Just be careful, don't burn yourself, and if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can just fold the edges, clip it or pin it, and base stitch it on your machine to hold the folded end. So now that I have my zipper end prep, I'm gonna make sure my main outer panel is right side up, and I'm gonna place the midpoint on the inch mark on my cutting mat. So now I can measure 1/4 of an inch away of the mid mark and start clipping my zipper on. On the tail end of my zipper, I'm gonna mark 1.25 inches from the bottom edge and mark it with a pin. Also gonna mark it on the other side, so I have it pre-marked for the other side. And now I'm gonna clip the zipper. This is the mark when we're gonna slip our zipper, so just make sure you have that done. And now that we have this side clipped to our outer panel, we're gonna split the tape and start clipping, and we're gonna start clipping the other side. So again, we're gonna align the mid mark, make sure we are placing the zipper in the same distance from the center, and keep on clipping. Now we want to check we ended up with the same length of the zipper. So if it looks the same, then we are good to go. And now that we have the zipper clipped to our outer panel, we're gonna take the project to the machine and we're gonna base stitch the zipper along this edge, making sure we are slipping the zipper ends when we get to the end part of the zipper. And we're gonna be sewing with the 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Make sure to back stitch on the beginning and on the end of your seam, and make sure you are slipping the zipper tail ends to avoid sewing them all the way through to the bottom edge. Now that our zipper is based to the main outer panel, we're gonna take our lining panel, and now we're gonna place both right sides together, and we're gonna clip the lining panel along the edge where we just sewn the zipper on, again making sure that the zipper tails stay out of the way of the seam. So we're gonna clip them on the side, and now continue clipping, and now continue clipping all the way around. When we have the lining clipped all around the edge, we're gonna take our project back to the machine, and again making sure we are not sewing our zipper tails all the way through. We're gonna now sew the lining on with the 1/4 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, making sure we are back stitching on the beginning and on the end of the seam. Now that our lining is sewn in, we can clip the fabric of the round corner. And turn the project right side out. Pull the corners out. We want to finger press our seam. And now we're gonna take the project back to the machine, and now we're gonna top stitch along the seam from the point where the zipper is sewn in to the other side. So we want to leave about an inch unsewn, So we're not gonna be top stitching right to the end. We wanna just top stitch from the point where the zipper starts up to the point where the zipper ends on the other side. So press the project with your fingers. Try avoiding using an iron since we have a vinyl. And then take the project to the machine and top stitch along the zipper seam, making sure you are stopping and starting at the 1 inch from the bottom edge of the project. Now that the project is top stitch and now the zipper lies nice and flat, we're gonna turn it back wrong side out. Tuck the zipper tails inside, and now we're gonna align our outers and our lining. So we wanna now align the place where the lining meets with the outer and clip. And then clip the bottom edge of the outer panel. Again, keeping your eye on the zipper, we want to make sure it's out of the way of the seam. And now we're gonna do the same with the lining. We just want to make sure that we're gonna leave an opening because that's gonna be our turning hole. So mark it with a pin, and when you have that prepped, you're gonna take your project back to the machine, and now you're gonna sew along this edge, making sure you are leaving an opening to turn your project right side out. And here we're gonna be sewing with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length, and make sure you are back stitching, especially well where you have the beginning of your turning hole, because that's gonna be a little stressed when we are turning our project right side out. You can start with basting this part together so you have a nice alignment of that place. So you can baste that in place, making sure it's nice and secure, and then complete the full seam. So take your project to the machine and sew along the bottom edge of the project with the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and 3.5 stitch length. Now that we have that seam done, I'm gonna trim the seam allowance at the corner and turn my project right side out. Now we have to remember about our foam. So now we're gonna use the opening to insert our foam. Fold the project to make sure that the foam is in the right position. If everything feels good to you, you can move on to closing the lining. If you feel like your foam might be too large, just take your time and trim the foam if needed. I think mine is looking pretty good. So now I'm gonna pull the lining out, fold the opening in, and now I'm gonna take my project back to the machine and I'm gonna sew the opening in the lining close with the 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch, whatever it's more comfortable for you. The smaller seam allowance, then the project looks a little better, so keep that in mind and make sure to backstitch on the beginning and on the end of your seam. The lining is now closed, so I'm just gonna place it back inside of my project. Make sure that everything is nice and flat. Fold the project in the final position, and now we are done with sewing part of the project, and now we just have to finish up our zipper. So we're gonna now insert our zipper pull. So that just make sure the zipper ends meet nicely on the front, and insert the zipper pull on. Looks like I got lucky and my ends are looking perfectly, but if your first try didn't give you the perfect placement of the zipper, just keep trying as many times as you need to. And now that that's done, the last thing is to install our zipper end. And like I said, you can just create a zipper end out of the vinyl. I showed you multiple times in my previous videos how I do it. I just cut a piece that is square. Basically, it's 1¼ by 1¼ because that's the width of the zipper. I fold the piece in half and just use rivets to attach it. But I think I'm gonna trim my zipper a little bit, and I'm gonna use my metal zipper cap that I prepped. And now our project is ready to use. The project is now completed. As you can see, I added my backpack here. I added it with rivets, but because I'm using a screen protector, that's totally fine, but just keep it in mind. And as you can see, adding the extra fabric based on the size of your device worked out pretty well, and I have plenty of space, even if I would like to put a little notebook inside to carry with my iPad. I still have a space, and now I have a nice cushy case to protect my device. I hope you enjoyed this project and that you're gonna follow the instructions, and basically with the instructions I provided, you can create a case for any device you have. If you do, please make sure to show off your creations in my Facebook group or tag me on Instagram. Links to both are in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you are not yet a subscriber, and hit the notification bell so you're not gonna miss out on any upcoming videos. And if you would like to support my small business, visit my Etsy store. The link is also in the description, and it's showing up as a QR code on the screen to purchase any paid patterns I have currently in my Etsy store. If you have any questions or need a little more help with figuring out the size of the cuts you need to make for your device, feel free to reach out, and I do my best to help you out. Till the next time.